So we live together.
Yep.
We watch football together.
Yep.
We talk about football together.
Yep.
Why don't we just start a podcast?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the eye test. We're back after another long wait. Bro, they waited, what, weeks to see the last episode. We said we're back. And then we took another few weeks off.
Yes.
All right, I think we should be good now, though.
Soon.
I think we should be good now.
Yes.
None of us got any holidays. None of us got any big trips planned.
Yeah.
Season's starting back in a week or so. And because that's happening, there's a lot of things happening around the football sphere, right? The big one is obviously the striker market at the moment. Everyone looks to be going after a center forward. There's been some big stories on social media. So I thought this episode we can just touch on a few talking points.
Timeline talks.
Timeline
talks.
Where do you want to start with this? Do you want to start with Sesko?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's
that's
the big one,
news.
right?
Yeah, man.
This morning, I think Fabrizio, Ornstein, they've all reported that it seems as good as done. Sesko has favored Man United. Now it's just about club-to-club agreements. But it looks like Benjamin Sesko will be Man United's center forward going into next season. What do you think of the move? The fee as well, too. It's a lot of money. But what do you think of this move in general?
It's an interesting one, man. That's the word that I keep saying. It's an intriguing one. As anyone used to watch Ed and Eddie.
Yeah,
that was Double D's favorite word. Intriguing. But anyway, it's definitely an intriguing one because I'm going to be learning about him on the spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I did favor a more familiar kind of face in like a Watkins, maybe like a Matetas and stuff like that. Mainly Watkins for me, but I did favor that because I'm kind of tired of taking risks. Do you get where I'm coming from? But risk is what you need. If you want to go to the next level, sometimes you have to take a risk. But I kind of want to just be stable. And I'll be honest, maybe it's my PTSD, maybe it's whatever, but I'm trying to be a bit more risk averse at the moment. So that's where I was going to look. But when I'm looking at Sesko, you're looking at a player that looks like a big talent. You know what I mean? I haven't watched much of him, but I saw a breakdown of his last few goals. And it's like header, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, left foot, right foot, header. I'm like flipping out. He's scoring both feet. He's scoring in the air. I've seen some wonder goals. You look at his profile, tall, 6'5". Seen some videos of his hold-up play, which is pretty decent. So as I said, I'm going to be learning about him on the spot. So it's mad interesting. And the discussion I was having with some people in our group chat was they're saying they're more excited for Sesko than a Watkins. And I can actually hear that because I am actually kind of excited to watch him. But I feel like my mind is maybe the sensible thing would have been Watkins. But at the same time, listen, if the fee for Watkins was apparently was going to be a mad money as well, looking at Benjamin Sesko, as you said, as you've said to me previously about his profile, you're bigger on him than I am in terms of you maybe know more about him. But I'm just look, I'm definitely interested because he does look like someone that if he can put the pieces together, we could have a mad striker. But how often do we put the pieces together at Man United? That's the PTSD kicking in.
I think PTSD is honestly the biggest word here. I look at a lot of people online, especially in our fan base, right? But they see Sesko coming in and they're like, oh, we never learn. We do another young striker, another project, and I just feel like Højlund has this fan base by the balls right now. I really feel that way. I feel like Højlund has honestly scarred Man United fans indefinitely. Because we signed a young striker 2 years ago for a similar fee actually to what we're signing Sesko for, it's the exact same thing's going to happen. It's it's actually interesting because this is how a lot of football fans think, right? Gyökeres, because he's coming from the Portuguese league, Bas Dost came from the Portuguese league, and Jackson Martinez and Darwin. Guys, these guys are all different human beings. So I definitely understand that with young strikers, there tends to be a pattern and that they're inexperienced and that's a learning curve. But just because Højlund was an unmitigated disaster doesn't mean that any 22-year-old center forward we signed would also be that way. And I don't think it's just a Sesko thing, right? I think if we had signed Ekitike, for example, United fans probably would have felt the same way. And you were saying this yesterday. It's actually funny because I feel like if we had signed a 29-year-old striker like Watkins, they probably would have gone the other way and said, well, we always do this with old strikers. We need someone a little younger. Look, I definitely think with Sesko, it is a big risk. It's a lot of money for a player of his age, and to be honest with you, the level he's at right now. He has a decent record in the Bundesliga. I know people are talking a lot about he scored 13 goals in the league last season.
Yeah.
I did some research, and I watched a really good video with HTMO and Umir, the show that they do on the overlap. Sesko since he joined came to the Bundesliga, I think the stat is, I screenshotted it right here. He scores a goal, so 0.66 goals per 90. Bro,
Decent,
that's a pretty decent return for a center forward of his age.
Yeah,
He's 22 years old.
Yeah.
For a center forward of that age, if you're scoring 0.66 goals per 90 minutes per every game you're playing, I think that's a decent return. Now, it's not Erling Haaland numbers that he was hitting when he was young. And I think we all have to kind of accept that. Like, for us to find a generational center forward like that, like it happens once every generation. So that shouldn't really be the expectation here. But I've been very consistent with this. If it came down to Man United, where they are currently in their process or whatever, if it comes down to spending 60 million on a 29-year-old whose window is significantly shorter than a younger player, or spending 70, 80 on a 22-year-old but has the potential longer window, I'm always going to take the risk on that younger player, especially when I think his talent is of that level. And I personally think Sesko's is.
Yeah, do you know what? It's the thing is, like, I agree with the Højlund thing in terms of how you're talking about that the young players are like the young strike. Well, us getting him in has kind of scarred United fans from the young player. My thing with young strikers, and I was saying it to you yesterday, is that like, and even with the names that I was mentioning to you, like young strikers, if from when they are starting to be like, if they come through from a teen to like 21, 22, and they are cold, they're usually the best strikers of their generation. Usually. Strikers, for me, take a little bit of time. If you're talking about the average of strikers, it takes a little bit of time for them to really become gunmen or really become top strikers. You think about the strikers I'm talking about in mention. Let's go to Owens and Rooney's and Aguero's and Haaland and these guys. But even then, how many of those strikers that I mentioned, they played in two up tops. Rooney played with Van Nistelrooy. Aguero played with, who did he play with? Not Falcao.
Aguero,
Forlan. Thank you. So Owen played with Heskey or Robbie Fowler, whoever. So all these strikers that have been like best of their generation from a young age, they had another striker up top other than like a Erling Haaland. And it's hard for me to see, well, Sesko is 22, so he's not very young. But what we need is basically him to become one of the best strikers of his generation at this young age. And it's very, very rare. That's the only thing. Like even Isak, everyone's gassing over Isak. We are all happy over Isak. But Isak wasn't doing this at 21. Well, Isak wasn't doing this at 20. If you
look at his move right before Newcastle, he scored 6 goals in the league. And I understand he also scored 17 the year before that. But Isak was not what you would call a goal phenom. He's not a prolific center forward in terms of you see him scoring 25 goals every single season. He grew into that.
You look at Gyökeres, you look at maybe the most modern one other than Haaland is Kane, maybe? And Kane was 21, 22 when he really started getting going. You think about teen Kane, man was at Norwich. So it's very hard for young strikers in the one up top era to really bang, and that's my only concern a little bit. That's my only concern
Sesko
with
actually,
it.
In fact, he plays in a 2 at Leipzig as well. Too, by the way, it's him and Openda. They played 4.
Yes, Openda.
So they play in a double, like they play up front together.
It's big,
and the way they use Sesko, I think it's interesting because when you look at the way United plays under Amorim, and I know we have our talks about Amorim, but if we're gonna just focus on Man United under him, how he fits in this team, we end up playing the ball long to our center forward in the air a lot of times, right? I think everybody who watches United, that's one of the first things you notice. They pump the ball up to their center forward quite a bit. And I think when you look at Xerxes and Højlund, neither of them are super comfortable in those situations. I think Højlund, when it comes to playing with his back to goal, isn't great at all. And I think Xerxes would prefer to feet kind of linking up with others. There's some stats with Sesko that when you look at how he could fit in this team, I think it's promising, right? Obviously, with United, another thing too. You talk about PTSD with Højlund. I think it's PTSD with any young player.
With Manchester United. With
any player. We don't. It's not. I think it's not Sesko that United fans don't trust. They don't trust their club's ability to develop young players, which is fair when you look at the track record. But I think at the same time too, if that's the case, then we might as well not sign anybody, right? Like eventually the buck has to stop with somebody.
We've signed players in their prime, hasn't worked. Di Maria, for example. We've signed young players, hasn't worked. Højlund, for example. We signed older players, hasn't worked. We signed Lukaku in his prime, hasn't worked. We've signed so many. We've signed young, prime, and old, and it hasn't worked. At some point, it's about how Manchester United implement this and how Manchester United, with whatever coach we have, implement, and can they improve players? Can they get the best out of these players? Because right now, if Mbumu, or whatever his name is now, Mbumu and Cunha,
whatever his name is now,
bro,
it's
changed. I'm telling you, it changed this summer, bro. People used to say Mbumu, now it's Mbumu.
I think he wants to go by Mbumu. I think that's Mbumu.
Bro, flipping out. Yeah, so Brian, and Brian and Cunha, right? If they don't work, that's two prime players that didn't work. At the end of the day, there's no real answer to it. We've gone young manager. We've gone former player manager. We've gone world-class manager. We've gone elder manager. We've gone hipster manager. And they ain't worked. So at some point, you can't just shut down the operation. You have to continue going until it works.
I mean, the stat I was going to read to you, for example, kind of relating to how United play with their center forward, aerial duels. I think that's a big stat for a center forward who wants to play at Man United. Xerxes and Højlund. Xerxes averages 1.5 aerial duels, 1 per 90. Højlund 1.4. Sesko 2.6. And Højlund wins about 24.6% of his aerial duels. Xerxes 29.9. Benjamin Sesko 57.4.
He wins 57% of his duels.
57.4% of his aerial duels.
That's mad.
So when you look at how Man United want to play with their center forward, is it optimal? I'm not a huge fan of it. But does it kind of make sense with the center forward they're going for? I think it does. Another stat, again, the last one I'm going to kind of read, is flick-ons. So in terms of like your first pass to kind of feed into another player or get someone in behind, which I can imagine Mbuemo and Cunha kind of running off of Sesko in an ideal world. Again, Xerxes, what's the stat? Xerxes flicks the ball 21 times with a success of 6. Højlund 17 with a success of 1.
Wow.
Sesko 49 with a success of 14. So again, this is a center forward that I think if you want to plug and place into the system to work the best, he does seem to be more of a fit than an Mbuemo and a Cunha. I think the one thing that people have kind of illustrated as weaknesses is his one-on-one finishing. He isn't the best, like in terms of like just those easy finishes you kind of want, which is a concern. I think you look at Darwin Núñez, that's something I feel like he struggled with. Does he have the wonder goals? 100%. Does he have some top headers in his locker? 100%. But it does kind of seem like those calm one.
We don't even create many opportunities.
But just in general, as a center forward, I think that's the kind of finishes you want your center forward to kind of master.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, at the end of the day, everyone wants the finished article from young.
But
I mean,
that's
something that he's got to develop.
Every center forward on the market, no matter who you went for, has a flaw.
That's the end of the day.
The only one I liked for sure was, you know me, I liked Osimhen. He wasn't achievable for any of these things.
And Osimhen, bro, listen.
Yeah, it's not like he's R9.
Bro, he's not that clinical too, bro. I see my Nigeria, bro.
I hear that.
Trust me. So everybody has their flaws. I mean, technically, Osimhen's not the greatest either. You know what I mean? So everybody has their flaws. No one's going to be perfect. But I do think the thing that's going to send Sesko from potential to a top player is what you just said there. It's not only just the finishing, but it's right now he scores great goals. Like I've seen some of his goals. This guy's run through 3 people, banged it bottom bit.
He can strike the ball.
Striking it from 30 yards. Bro, he's doing left foot volleys. I'm like, Jesus.
He can strike a ball.
Yeah, his ball strike is unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
But now he needs to go from great goals into becoming a great goal scorer.
What's that expression?
It's
great goals. You're on a great goal scorer.
Exactly. So that's what he needs to develop into. Like someone like Zlatan, for example, as good as Zlatan was, Zlatan had them struggles too.
For sure.
Like up until PSG.
I think AC Milan.
True.
I think Milan.
He wasn't prolific. He was like a great he was a great scorer of goals, but he wasn't like, you could look at the stats. He wasn't with the Van Nistelrooys. He wasn't with these type of Shevchenkos.
He was a bit of a late bloomer. Yeah.
He was a late bloomer.
I would say actually Inter is when I think he started winning like golden boots and stuff.
Yeah.
But Juve, Ajax. 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like you look at him, he didn't become prolific for a while because when you can strike a football like that, you kind of rely on that aspect of your game. If you can hit the ball from 25, 30 yards, you're going to think to yourself, hey, I'm not running into the... Just drop it here.
This guy was playing like perimeter player.
Yeah, drop
it here. In the post.
Literally, drop it here and let me bang it. But I hope... Listen, I do think at the end of the day, we talk about Sesko, we talk about might not need a midfielder, whatever it is. The main thing is going to be, can the coach get the best out of him? That is the reality. If he does a good coaching job, Sesko will score goals. It's just the reality. If we can get a good coaching job, he'll score goals. So a lot of it comes down to that. Like, we're not going to be talking about fees. What do we always say? If the player turns out well, you're not going to talk about the fee. You're not going to talk about this. You're not going to talk about that. So at the end of the day, it comes down to, can the coach get the best out of him? Now, we've now signed a brand new front three. They have to click. They have to understand each other, and it has to happen pretty quickly.
Yeah. You know what's interesting as well, too, right? The whole, like, oh, we're spending this money instead of a midfielder. I find it's, like, kind of misaligned. Like, I feel like it's misdirected. Because, yeah, I understand we're spending a lot of money on a striker when we definitely need a midfielder. But couldn't you have said the same thing when we went after 2 number 10s for, what, like £130 million combined, when our best player is already a number 10? Wasn't that a worse use of funds if we really need a midfielder? Again, I feel like Sesko is now becoming like the image of just like all of Man United's issues, which I kind of feel bad for him for, because like it seems like from day one now, anyways, anyone who comes to Man United has pressure, but now it really feels like the pressure is on him from day one. But let's see how he kind of delivers. Guys, let us know in the comment section down below as well too, like how many goals will Sesko score in his first season. And also, again, thank you to HTMO and Umir for the stats and stuff like that. Check out their video. Anything else that caught your eye this week or in the last 2 weeks? I know you were in Houston. You were in Atlanta, living it up back there.
Living it.
But I know you keep your eye on the timeline.
Yeah, I've been seeing what you've been saying, actually.
What
I've been seeing you've been causing some stirs, man. On the TL, I'm like, bro, when Leah's hot take merchant now, yeah?
I've been saying the Faisal too much.
Bro, literally. So I saw your comments about Van Persie and Aguero. I saw your comments about Messi and Neymar and all that type of stuff.
I can't lie. The Messi one, you know
it?
what? The Messi one, right? So to anyone who didn't see it, the conversation was about who did more work as a teenager, Messi or Neymar. And I was pretty adamant that it was Neymar. I can't lie, though. I think I forgot a lot about Messi's 06-07 season, bro. Like, I forgot the fact that he made the Ballon d'Or podium, which is crazy as a 19-year-old. The hat trick was that season. The Ankara Messi goal was that season. I did definitely like sleep on the 06-07 season, so I'm willing to kind of concede that, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Even though I would still take Neymar, but I think it's much closer to what I was giving credit for. But the RVP take, I'm sorry, I don't think it's a hot take. I really don't think it's a hot. Like, I think the way people are reacting is a hot take. People saying like Aguero is clear of him and RVP's never been on his level. I think that's a hot take, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it goes to too many extremes. I think with the Neymar Messi one, first of all, like, I think Messi always showed the most promise in terms of he had this gift that nobody had, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Messi is. So you kind of knew he's going to become crazy, right?
Yeah.
GOAT, no one can say you expected him to be a GOAT, but the GOAT. But
from when Dino was telling Kobe, I won the Ballon d'Or, but he's the best player.
Yeah, you're seeing, you saw flashes. As you said, you saw the hat trick. You saw his debut goal. You saw so many things. You saw the way Chelsea were trying to defend him. You saw so many things about Messi when you were younger, like, where you knew he's going to become an incredible player.
Yeah, sure.
But the debate that you guys were having is what they done. Yeah. What they done. It wasn't about the talent. If it's talent, I'm sure you have Messi as one. I said
it in the video. I said Messi.
If it's talent, you have Messi as one. But it's about what they've done.
Yeah.
And if it's about what they've done, then there's a few players that I think have done more than Messi as a teenager. So I don't think that's really that crazy. You look at Lamine Yamal, what he's doing.
That wasn't even a conversation.
Yeah, you look at Kylian Mbappe, what Kylian Mbappe was doing. There's so many. There's a lot of players that at teens, they've done incredible things. Now Messi, obviously, as I said, like, he's the highest talent of all of them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if the question is about application, which I think you guys were having, I don't think it's that crazy to say that. Anyway, obviously the knock was that Neymar's in Brazil. So everyone's all like, oh, yeah, just Brazil. But at the end of the day, bruv, it's not. Why hasn't there been anyone other Brazilians doing what Neymar's doing? We're gassing over Esteval.
They've done. Fuad and Liban were saying, oh, they might as well put Rodrigo and Vinny. I said, no, I wouldn't, because they didn't do half of what Neymar did,
not
bro.
Even close.
Neymar won Santos' first Copa Libertadores, bro, since Pele.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about here as a teenager.
Come on, man. The discussions around Neymar compared to Rodrigo and Vinny, it's not even a comparison.
Those guys would spit at you for saying that,
bro. It's not even a comparison. Remember how long it took for them to even find a new Pele was Robinho. Yeah. Robinho was making noise, but it still wasn't Neymar. Yeah. What Neymar's done, listen, there's levels. You listen to the way the Brazilians speak about him, like, they just knew, listen, okay, we've got our new prodigal son. It is what it is. Do you get where I'm coming from? So I can't agree with Rodrigo and Vinny. They were not making. They were not making that. That's ridiculous. And I saw the omission of R9 as well, which I think
I thought that was the craziest thing, bro.
I think omission of
People
R9
were focusing on
crazy,
Neymar.
yeah.
I thought leaving out R9. Wow.
I think when it comes to these young players, right? I get it if they're 22, 23, 24 in these leagues.
Yeah.
But when you're a young player, no matter where you do it, it does not matter for me.
Yeah.
If you're 17, tearing up any level of football,
Yeah.
I'm taking
As
a
a
look at you, bro.
17-year-old, yeah.
I'm taking a look at. If I see a 17-year-old right now, let's say Archie Gray in the Championship, I'm like, bro, you're a player. Like, okay, and whatever happens at Spurs, we'll see. But even if you're 17, hacking it in the Championship, I'm looking at you like you are good. If you're doing it in Portugal, João Felix, when he's doing Rodrigo Mora right now, am I going to look at you and be like, yeah, but you're doing it you're 17, 18. We can't use the same mindset we use for the adults as these young players. Any level of football. Bro, I promise you, if I saw a 17-year-old tearing up League One right now, I'll be like, whoa, this guy must be a mad talent. If you're young, I don't think people sleep on that too much. 17, 18, 19, doing it at any level is impressive.
But you know what the funny thing with this conversation was, like, I definitely hear everything you're saying, but the funny thing in the context of this conversation was they were kind of like holding back from like giving Neymar and R9 those positions because it was only the Brazilian league. But like we have the benefit of also knowing what ended up happening when they did go to Europe. So it's not like, oh, we're comparing Neymar right now in his career at 17 because we don't know what he's going to go do compared to someone who's doing it in Europe.
Yeah.
We know that Neymar and R9 went to Europe after and also
destroyed it,
so it's not like it's just because
they were overpowered.
Bro, we know what they ended up doing, bro. R9 went to Barca a year later and scored 30-something goals.
At the day as well, like at the same time, it's like you have to have also been able to compare these exact moments. So, for example, you look at Pele. We're saying it because of the World Cup. I'm guessing is what people are saying. Now we can turn around and say, well, was the World Cup level as high as it was when R9 was playing? Was the World Cup, is Brazilian football? We don't even know what Brazilian football standing was. All I know is that if you look at, like, for example, Santos's record against European teams with Pele there, it was really good. Pele's record is unbelievable against European teams. So I understand that, but at the same time, bro, them days Soviet Union were top. They don't even exist anymore in football though. You know what I'm saying? Like there was Yugoslavia, bro, winning big things. Do you get where I'm coming from though? Like, so you can't just turn around, like genuinely you can't turn around and knock it unless you were actually there at the time.
I feel like you just gotta like hold it for what it was at the time.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
will never take like away from Pele, but like also then saying like for me,
You can't
I respect him for what he did in his time.
Yeah. Like, but for me though, it's like you can't knock Neymar for being in Brazil, but then say Pele's is fine.
Yeah.
He's in Brazil too, but 100 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So
100 years
no,
ago.
but obviously, I'm just saying like it's 100 years ago. So it's like, but I don't know. It was a bit of a weird one. At the end of the day, if it's just accolades, then cool. I don't know, a lot goes into that. But back to the Van Persie thing, Van Persie, Aguero. I think that's a good discussion. I think it's a very good discussion. I think the thing with peak, and I remember having this discussion with my boy about Kane and Van Persie at one point. And he's like, Kane is better. And my other boy was like, well, RVP at his best is better than Kane. And he's like, yeah, but you just have to keep saying at his best. Like, who's better, Kane? So it's going on. So it's about how much you value peak, how much you value prime, how much you value ability, all this type of stuff. I think with Van Persie and Aguero is that Aguero was high level for, let's say, 10 years straight. Yeah. Boom. Even probably longer because if you continue and he's from LA. Bro. To say 12 years straight, Aguero is at a high level. Mm-hmm. So he kind of just like this at a high level, a high table. Whereas Van Persie had injuries. He was on the left wing sometimes. He was on the right wing. It took him a little while. Henry was still at the club. Then Adebayor was the guy. And then, so it took him a little while. So you've seen Van Persie go from, potential to, what's going to happen in his career? Is he ever going to be, okay. Hold on. Oh my God, this is Van Persie. So when you have something like Van Persie, his peak shouts at you more than an Aguero peak. Whereas, Aguero could just be, I don't know what his numbers are, but it could just be 28 goals this season, 29 goals that season, 26, 32, 33. And you're just like, okay, that's Aguero. Whereas Van Persie's, it could have went from 11 to 30 Do you get where I'm coming from?
The peak is more noticeable.
Yeah, the peak
because
is
it literally peaked.
It
Aguero
literally
is like a constant.
Yeah,
peak.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really about.
But I think this is where my thing kind of comes into play. I definitely agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I still think with all of that being true, with Aguero's peak being practically his entire career, again, I challenge people to this. I don't know if Aguero ever hit a level in his career as good as Van Persie's 3 years, bro.
I actually understand that. I feel. Wait, hold on.
You good? You want to blow your nose or something?
Nah, it's calm.
I'll say it again so it's not.
Yeah.
I hear everything you're saying, right? And I completely agree. But I still think, and I would challenge people to like find me like periods in his career where this is true. Did Aguero ever hit a point in his career where he was better than those 2.5 years of Robin Van Persie? And I get it's only 2.5 years. I 100% concede that. But did he ever hit a point in his career where he was at that level?
Yeah, I think that's a good discussion. I think that's also the thing where I would probably agree with the Van Persie take, because also I think now this could go two ways. Van Persie was playing with sides that, in my opinion, he elevated. He elevated, but it also allowed him to be the main man.
Sure.
And Aguero has never really been in a position where Aguero has been with Yaya, David Silva, KDB.
He's always been on the best team in the Premier League,
He's
for sure.
been at the best team in the Premier League. And then also, even though he's not a player, Pep also gets a lot of credit for everything as well when Pep Guardiola comes in. So Aguero's never really been that, like, he is a catalyst of Man City. He's arguably their greatest ever player, whatever. But he's never really been a guy that it's like, how should I explain it? It's like, oh, look what he's doing with a bunch of... He's never really had the opportunity. Do I think Aguero could have done that at any team? Yes. I'm not going to think that, oh, well, Aguero wouldn't have done that at Arsenal. No, I think Aguero at Arsenal would have banged goals. Man United banged goals. It doesn't matter where he is. But we've seen it with Van Persie. We have the evidence of Van Persie being able to elevate sides. And I think that also takes a part in a lot of things. It's the same thing when you look at the Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes discussion. You know, Scholes in a great team. They say Lampard was in a great team, but Gerrard carried. You know what I mean? So he has that kind of... That's his USP, you know what I mean? That's his selling point. And I think that's the same case with Van Persie. Not only his ability, we know Van Persie ability, his finishes, his whatever, but I think those 2 years was like, take him out of them two teams. They're literally moving like bums.
He's the most valuable player in that team.
Most valuable player is a great example, a great word to use. So I do think those 2 years of Van Persie were mad. And I would side with that, man. I would side with that because I'm thinking about, I lived through these moments, and I remember saying Van Persie is the best. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Bro, I don't...
So
I
I'm not going to try now. I'm not going to now, in revisionism, see how Aguero's career panned out and be like, oh, 'cause I do think Aguero is a greater player.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
but I remember FIFA days I was using Arsenal. I'm telling you this now.
Fucking Gervinho on the left.
Bro, I fucking bought Van Persie's boots, bro. The green,
I
the
had
lime
those
green
too.
ones, Adidas's.
And then I had the black and blue ones too.
Exactly. So I am going to, not going to lie, I do remember in them moments, I remember saying Van Persie's the best striker in the Premier League until
that's not even
Luis Suarez.
Bro, but that for me isn't even like a debate,
like,
bro. RVP won back-to-back goals. He almost won 3 golden boots in a row due to injury. Almost won 3, but he won 2 back-to-back.
Yeah.
He won PFA Player of the Year 1 year.
Yeah.
Probably should have won it in 12-13 when we won the league. Bale won it, but you could make the argument Van Persie probably should have, bro. So there was no conversation that RVP was the best center forward in the league. He was in conversations for best in the world, bro, with Ibra and Falcao at the time. Aguero was in that same league. And again, Aguero, I think another thing that hurts him is the injuries never allowed him to hit the 30 goal. I don't think Aguero has ever hit 30 goals in a league campaign in his career. Not because he couldn't, not because he technically couldn't, but because he physically wasn't able to get on the pitch long enough, which also, again, now hurts the way he's looked at in terms of prime conversations. I totally get that. But
my thing is, and I think this is where we got to be, the word peak and better is interesting for me, because do you think Van Persie at his best is a better player than Aguero, or do you just think he peaked higher? I don't think he's a better player. I think they are like...
higher. I think better is now a conversation where I can hear Aguero. Yeah, because Aguero for me...
And I think that's where it's getting muddled. I think that's where online are muddling it. Because when you say peak, they're not thinking that you're saying, oh, like, let's say, for example, I don't know what people's opinions are. It might be a bad example because people might actually think he's the GOAT or whatever. But some people might say, okay, Van Dijk's peak is this, but I think this guy's better. Some people might say, oh, I think Thiago Silva or Sergio Ramos is better, but Van Dijk had the highest peak. That's how people might see it. But it's like at their best, both at their best, who do you think is?
I'm not gonna lie though. I still think
better?
at their best.
But
I still think it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Of course, I still think it's a lot closer.
We're talking about top 10s.
But that's what I'm trying to say here. I'm not disrespecting. People are saying you're being disrespectful to Aguero. I'm not being disrespectful to Aguero whatsoever. I haven't brought him down once. I haven't said I think he's crap. I think Aguero's one of the best center forwards I ever saw in my life. I think people are bringing down Van Persie either because they forgot or because they're City fans or they just didn't watch it. But Van Persie at his best was so fake, bro.
It was fake.
Like,
it was fake.
Again, he has every finish. I think Aguero's a better finisher than him. I think Aguero's the best finisher the Prem has seen, to be honest. To him, Kane, Shearer, you're looking at those three. But I think Van Persie's Van Nistelrooy as well too. But I think Van Persie's a ridiculous finisher on either foot. By the way, at one point he had the record for most weak foot goals in the Prem.
He's tied with
Kane. I think has more than him.
I think it's both got 40.
I think Kane might have surpassed him. With
it?
I think Kane has 51 now at this point, or 50 something. Kane overtook him. Headers, but then also when you're looking at the playmaking, the link-up play, I think Van Persie trumps him. I think Van Persie, in terms of bringing others into play, dropping deep and orchestrating from deep. Now you could say, does that matter so much for a center forward? Maybe not. I would give that side of the game though to RVP. RVP used to take corners for us,
corners, set pieces, crossing ability.
He was more than just a center forward, which of course helps because he played in other positions before that. But I think there's areas where he definitely trumps Aguero.
Yeah, Van Persie is a great example of what I was kind of saying in the in my video when I was like, are we sure there's no strikers or are they just playing on the wing? I think that's Van Persie, perfect. This guy was a winger, bro. He was playing on the wing. I remember him on the wing, young Van Persie, and then he ends up becoming one of the best centre forwards in Premier League history. So it's like, bro. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. It's tough. I don't know.
I definitely. If you say Aguero, I don't mind. I don't mind. I think Aguero's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think what I would say. Oh, it's so hard. What I would say is I do think peak Van Persie's peak tire, but I think Aguero's better. I do think Aguero's better.
That's fine. I can hear it.
Aguero. I don't know if I feared a centre forward like that before, bro.
I definitely haven't. I definitely haven't.
Aguero, and it's short. He had big legs. He can turn like so effortlessly.
He had a Maradona style to him in terms of how he ran through
his
you, bro.
finishing near post, anywhere. Aguero, honestly, I always say it, right? Aguero is one of them players who I truly don't even remember his misses. Like, you know, there's some I can close my eyes and picture Henry's reaction when he doesn't score, Van Persie's, Kane, all these guys. I don't know what Aguero's expression is when he doesn't score. He doesn't miss, bro. It felt like the guy doesn't miss. Aguero was, for me, at his best, both at their best, I would take Aguero. I would take Aguero. But I do think Van Persie did, if that makes sense. If that makes sense, he did hit a higher peak. But at their best, I just have a plain paper, and it says, listen, you've got Aguero in red hot form, and you've got Van Persie. I think I'm taking Aguero, man. I think that's
absolutely fair. I'm not hating on anybody that says Aguero. I just think people pretending it's not a conversation.
Yeah.
I think you guys are crazy. I genuinely believe that. Like, by all means, Aguero, bro, has earned the respect to be in any conversation of any center forward in history.
Because he was quick as
he
well,
was ridiculous, bro.
And he was ridiculous. Strong, bro.
But bro, anyone pretending RVP for, again, it was only 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But those 2.5 years, bro, if you weren't there, you weren't there. I can't explain it to you.
There were movies. This guy was volleying it out the sky, people.
What
like,
the
come
hell?
on, man.
Bro, that's Charlton. Okay, that's Charlton. That
was a long time
ago. But RVP's...
Bro, the Everton volley, when Song chipped it up to him, two of them, by the way, one against Arsenal, against Liverpool, the side... Maybe Reina should have saved that.
The one against Everton.
The one against Everton.
That might be better than Villa's, bro. Because
aesthetically it looks nice.
The way it's smashed off the post.
But the Villa one, there's one angle. It's the keeper just doesn't move. Just like
Brad Guzan just looks at it.
Yeah. Now Van Persie, come on, people, man. Ridiculous. And even me saying Aguero's better, I'm splitting hairs.
But I think that's the conversation here, right? Again, I think my least favorite word in football, it always changes, but right now my least favorite word in football is clear. I think people misuse it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, bro, the only time I want to hear someone say someone is clear of the other is like, oh, Xavi is clear of John Joe Shelby or someone, bro. Stop saying clear to say like, oh, Suarez was clear of Lewandowski. No, he wasn't clear of him, bro. These are two of the best center forwards ever, bro. Like, at no point in their career was one saying, oh, this guy's trillion times better than the other. I think we got to use our words a little better. And the way people just throw the word clear out these days, I think it's becoming ridiculous now, bro. The word has no meaning.
So who's the non-Henry, because I think we will say it's Henry's probably got the best peak. Who's your top 3 peaks strikers in the Premier League?
Suarez is in there. Peak, just the best level they hit. Like, at their best. Drogba. I think Drogba's in there. I think Drogba, 09-10, when he combined the production with the crazy overall play, I think he's got to be in there. Bro, I'm not going to lie, right?
I think people sleep on peak Van Nistelrooy, bro.
I was going to say, I think
he scored 44 goals.
I was going to say...
In all comps.
But then what I was gonna say is it not Haaland, bro?
Yeah, Haaland.
He scored 50 goals in a year, bro.
Haaland.
Has a set, like, bro. We can talk about overall play and stuff like that. But
you're right.
If you scored 36 goals in the season or whatever,
Haaland,
he's got to be in that conversation.
Yeah, he's got.
I think RVP and Aguero, both of them are in that conversation.
You didn't put Rooney as a striker. You don't see him as a striker.
I never put him in these conversations. Maybe it's a cop out, but I don't see him as an out and out 9. Yeah,
I hear that. Rooney. Kane
surely Shearer.
Some levels. Shearer. I don't think I got to see peak Shearer. No, so I won't put him there. Like, even the season I'm talking about with Van Nistelrooy, Shearer was up there, goal scorer. I think he scored like 22 goals in the league or something.
Every year,
but I mean, Shearer peak, man, was scoring 34 goals in that, and that was before. That was still in a 42 game league, 22 team league and stuff. So. Some of the stats that he's put up is unbelievable. I didn't get to see Blackburn, Shearer. I didn't get to see all that type of stuff, so I can't put him. But I think Drogba's up there. Suarez, Haaland, of course. I think Van Nistelrooy's up there personally. Van Persie.
What about Kevin Phillips, man?
Yeah, bro. Why did people say, bro? People are silly. I get he got that, bro. Listen,
who was it? Was it Fuad who was trying to sneak
next?
Him
we're gonna
in,
say
bro?
Andy Flippin Johnson. He's got 25 league goals.
I said, yo,
Yakubu,
bro.
Yeah, I'm saying. All right, non-mainstream names. Who would you say like?
Outside of like the traditional.
Outside of the top 10 nest.
Who was like the most peak at their best?
Yeah.
Whew.
Non-traditional names like
Demba Ba had a nice little spell, bro. I can't lie.
Yeah, that's
Demba
a
Ba
spell,
had
but
6 months where he was. Demba Ba had 6 months where he was a problem, bro.
I mean,
okay. You see, this is interesting because for example, someone might say Defoe. I don't think Defoe ever had a peak level where you like. I think Defoe.
Defoe wasn't better than Defoe.
I'm talking at his best. Defoe was consistent 12 to 15, 16 every year.
But even then, it wasn't like. I mean, Lukaku peaked higher than him. You know,
Lukaku's a great example.
Yeah, Lukaku at Everton. You know, what I'm trying to say.
Example, to be fair.
You know what I've got? I think I got to think about it more.
Go ahead.
And this isn't including because everyone likes to say he's so underrated. I'm not talking about Andy Cole is part of the traditional lot of people.
He won golden boots, right? If you want a golden boot, like
I mean,
well,
Andy Cole was in that before people say, "Oh, why you not say Andy Cole? He's so underrated." Like we've heard. I mean,
have you heard he never took penalty?
Bro, I'm saying like, what I would say is, who was one? I remember Berbatov at Spurs.
Crazy. Yeah.
I used to beg for this guy, bro. I was so happy he came to my Berbatov at Spurs. What do you think, Carlos Tevez at City?
Tevez, bro.
Carlos
was
Tevez
someone
at
I
City?
threw in the list. I wanted to talk about him a lot because I'm like, we've spoke about this before. Yeah. Guys, we watched Tevez his whole career. I never thought at one point Tevez was even top 5 center forwards in the world. But if I look today, I genuinely think because of the quality of strikers, but also like the way he plays.
Tevez was so good,
I think Tevez would dominate football right now, bro.
Tevez.
I think if Tevez landed in football right now, people would think he's an alien.
Tevez was so good. Tevez, Berbatov.
Like he was Aguero before Aguero really like. Oh my goodness.
Bro,
he's like a less clean Aguero.
He was a bull, bro. Tevez. There's Aguero. No, sorry. Tevez. You got it in my head. Tevez, Berbatov.
Yeah. We employed them both, by the way.
Yeah, which is mad.
Ronaldo
I'm trying to think.
Peak center forwards.
Maybe it might not come because it might get drowned out by team and stuff, but Nicholas Anelka at Chelsea.
Well, I was thinking
and
Anelka,
Bolton,
at
that little
Arsenal,
spell,
the way he was-
Bolton. And that Arsenal.
that's
yeah,
like the
yeah,
peak
yeah.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at that little spell from Bolton to Chelsea. Like
I think
Anelka was a top
even
striker
at,
as well.
at Liverpool.
No,
bro,
it's at
good.
Man City, very underrated at Man City. Anelka, his
It was at
record
Man City.
Yeah,
didn't
Liverpool
get
was
one
just
with
a loan.
Houllier. Yeah, he didn't
One
fuck
loan,
with
yeah.
Houllier. Yeah. But Anelka, bro, everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. I mean, I guess Yakubu is not a bad shout, you know. You're
Bro,
right.
these guys got over 100 Prem goals, man.
Yakubu is not a bad. Adebayor, remember that season 07-08?
If we're talking peak level,
bro.
Adebayor's got one of the fakest peaks
Bro,
ever, bro.
yo.
Because again, you're talking about profiles. Right? You're talking about profiles, right? Like height,
Yes.
skill.
Bro, he scored 30 goals
and all
that
comps,
season.
right?
Yeah. 30.
Yeah, and if we're talking peaks, he's got one of the fit.
Like,
Bro, you
if
look
we're
at a guy
talking-
of that size, like
Yeah.
the feet, the volleys,
Bro,
the headers.
man scored that volley against Spurs.
Adebayor was fit, bro.
Was it Spurs? Yeah, against Spurs.
Yeah.
With Spurs,
The-
the volley.
yeah.
Adebayor's up there. You
Nah,
know?
peak,
Adebayor's
that's
up there.
that's a
He's not
great
mad.
shout,
Peak.
actually.
Who else?
That's a great
Who else
shout.
hit a mad peak? Like, I'm trying.
Michu. Fucking Michu.
Yeah, but
was
see,
a mad peak.
Michu's and these guys, like, they're like,
Nah, he had 1 year, bro. Where he
yeah,
was,
they're like,
he was fake, bro.
yeah. But it's
Peak
like,
years.
because then it just starts becoming streets we never forget, guys.
Yeah.
I'm talking about guys that are above streets we never forget, but
Adebayor's a great shout.
but not the GOATs type shit. I guess it's probably the people, like, we probably didn't get to see it, like the Robbie Fowlers and the
but
Les Ferdinands and these type
These
of
guys
guys.
are, I think they're.
I put Robbie Fowler in that conversation though, innit? Like,
With
of the, like,
Adebayor and
no,
stuff.
the above that.
Yeah, bro. You know what Liverpool fans call him, bro. In fact, we were asking Ian Wright, we were talking about finishing. Like, that was one of the first names he brought up.
By the way, I didn't get to finish that episode, but did you guys actually talk to Ian Wright about his finishing?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Ian
Because
Wright.
he used to speak about, like, when he was in training with, like, him,
Yeah.
Shearer, Sheringham.
Bro,
And
Ian Wright's finishing is peak. Guys, I'm telling you guys now, yeah, go and watch Ian Wright videos. You will see some of the most audacious goals. The guy, by the way, nobody in Premier League history chips a keeper like Ian Wright.
Yeah.
No, nobody. This guy's at Messi level of chipping, bro. I'm not even joking. Yeah. Nobody in Premier League history chips a goalkeeper like Ian Wright. In terms, bro, that guy will chip you from anywhere, bro. Outside the box, inside the box, left foot. Ian Wright had a wonderful left foot as well. If you're talking about pure finishing, way before our time, but just look at his video. His variety of goals is incredible. I remember when I was having that discussion about who's got the best variety of goals that went viral with me and Harry. Ian Wright is up there, bro. Unbelievable finisher. So when I was seeing all of that, I was like, I hope somebody gives him. I know maybe you guys didn't maybe look at that, but yeah, bro. Ian Wright's finishing,
fake,
madness. But yeah,
you know who else had a really it was short, honestly, like, bro.
But is he streets we'll never forget,
no,
or is he?
He's currently still playing right now, bro. I think for like 6 months, bro. Again, it's short, but for 6 months, this guy.
I think I know you're gonna say. Go.
Tell me.
Negredo. Was it Negredo?
No,
Oh,
Negredo,
remember Negredo's fucking 6 months,
bro. And then he just disappeared,
bro. Literally,
bro. Gabriel Jesus for 6 months.
That Arsenal.
Bro. But remember the last 3 months at City before he left.
Yeah.
And then he went to Arsenal in the first 4 months of that.
That Arsenal spell was mad,
bro. Jesus had me thinking, oh my god,
you know what? Do you know the answer is actually obvious? Actually,
who's that?
It's Fernando Torres.
But, Torres
doesn't fall into the
because Torres at one point was the best striker in the world.
Yeah. It's Fernando Torres.
Not many people can say that. Yeah, you know what? That's
it's
true.
Fernando Torres.
I didn't even think of him because for me he's just like
he is mad, but he doesn't fall into the GOAT.
He's a meteorite though. If we think about it,
he's a what?
He's a meteorite.
Yeah,
it was so short, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, he doesn't fall into the GOAT. He falls in with the Berbatovs and Tevez.
Is Fernando Torres the biggest confidence striker ever? Like when he was just on it, he was on it, but when it wasn't.
Do you know what? The reason why I can probably agree with that, right, is because
even at Liverpool, I never thought he was clinical. Yeah,
low-key Aubameyang.
Yeah,
low-key.
Bro, you know he's the quickest player to ever 50 goals.
50 goals. He won a golden boot too.
Yeah.
Low-key, he's up there. But
Aubameyang erasure. They're trying to erase my goal. You see what Arteta's doing, bro? For Kai Havertz,
bro. But do you know what? Torres is a good one because
I never thought Torres was like in terms of one-on-one fit. Like he's not the most. He's kind of like a 1 in 3 striker in my opinion in terms of finishing.
But Torres is because he was genuinely like so feared in his prime that he was like a lion and then just became a cat, like a little
bro, that's the best
feline.
way to describe him.
Like that's why it's so different. Like you know, you get some confidence players. Like maybe you can put Rashford as confidence, but Rashford at his best is a mad player, but he's not like a lion. Like Torres was like a.
No, Torres struck fear around.
He
every
was
team in
struck
Europe.
fear, bro. Like struck fear, and then he just became this like little puppy.
But you
like,
know what it was too? Even the hair when he cut
the
his
hair
hair.
ruined him, bro. What? Come on, man. What is he
Because you know what
doing,
you talk
bro?
about lion. Even the Torres aesthetic is the greatest of all time.
Am I
for me,
the only
bro.
one that thinks Torres got taller at Chelsea as well?
Bro, he got like more awkward.
He got
bro.
taller, bro. He cut his hair and he got taller. I promise you, he got taller. At Liverpool, he was not as tall as
Bro.
Chelsea, he looks like flipping Andy Carroll in height, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Because he's next to Mata.
I'm telling
but
you,
Torres,
bro.
bro, like everything just seemed right, bro. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
it
like
did.
even like you got the same kid they're wearing nowadays.
Yeah.
The wrist tape, the
Yeah.
T90s, the hair, the stride, bro. Torres, like it doesn't even sound like we're
boots, the
describing a
tape.
footballer right now, bro. But
Torres.
bro, but honestly, like again, I never thought he was like he's not a better finisher than Aguero. Aguero is like the fakest finishers.
Yeah.
Torres needs more chances, but when he's when he's confident, it just felt like everything he touched worked
Yeah,
out.
and he was good in the
Once
air, man.
once he dropped like in confidence, obviously the injuries happened, but like
Yeah.
once the confidence went, bro, it genuinely felt like he couldn't hit anything.
Literally.
Like that miss against United, I'll never forget that for
Yeah.
as long as I live. There was a conversation happening where like someone's like their hottest football take ever was that Torres wasn't a flop at Chelsea.
Nah.
And I said, no, you just actually forgot what he was at Liverpool
Yeah.
then, because
he was
like
a flop. He scored like 25 league goals.
he smashed the British rank record,
Yeah.
50 million at the time.
Yeah.
Before it was like 30.
Who?
Torres when he went to Chelsea. The
Oh, yeah,
record was
yeah, he
Berbatov,
did,
right?
he
And I think
did.
he went for 50. I've never seen a quicker decline in football than that.
It's
bro.
mad.
Ever.
It's like he got space jammed. You know, shout out to,
Yeah.
by the way, shout out to Louis Sahar, by the way.
Yeah.
You talking about finishers?
He has the nicest finishing style.
You
man.
talk about finishers,
Yeah.
bro. You talk about like
grass cutter.
peaks as well. Like if he didn't get injured, man. I was talking to Abs, Abs in a group chat, and bro, France at one point, if they could have had Henry, Trezeguet, a serious Nicolas Anelka if he was serious, and a fit Louis Sahar.
This is France. So say those names again.
Henry, Trezeguet, Louis Sahar fit,
Yeah.
and if Anelka was a serious man,
Yeah.
they could have had that as a
06, they brought
front
Will Tort as well
four.
too, man. They brought Will
Imagine that as your
Tort.
front four.
Yeah, that's a crazy. And then Benzema came in a few years later.
Yeah, bro. Wow.
You know what it is? Amenya actually made a list on YouTube. He recorded a video like ranking his best Premier League strikers based on prime. Let me quickly like tell you who he had in the first tier. Shout out Amenya, by the way. He's taking YouTube very seriously right now.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Subscribe to him. Yeah, he's uploading every day, bro.
Oh, nice.
Bro, he had a tier list, right? In his top 2 tiers, again based purely on their prime form. Vardy, he had high.
Yeah.
To be
He's
fair,
got 745 videos on YouTube.
yeah, but a lot of them are shorts. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's always uploaded his shorts, but now he's actually doing like long form.
Ah.
He had Hasselbank in his second tier
Yeah.
in terms of prime, and he had Vardy in his second tier in terms of prime.
He had Hasselbank in his. Go on, say again.
Yeah,
Sorry?
he had Hasselbank in his second tier for prime.
Yeah.
Like prime Hasselbank is tier 2 for him, and then he had prime Vardy in tier 2 as well too.
Yo, Hasselbank is a shout. You know, Hasselbank in 2002 with Idoka Johnson.
Oh, we're also forgetting someone. Really
That is a good peak, you know. All right, yo. Thank you for mentioning. Let me look at his stats real quick as well. Bro, back-to-back 23 goal seasons.
Yeah, nuts.
29 in the 29 all comps.
I think
26.
Hasselbank, wherever he went, was that guy,
Bro,
Atletico,
Hasselbank's record is crazy. 16 at Leeds. So he went 16, 18. Wait, so he was at Boavista. That was 20 goals. Then 16, 18, 24, 23, 23. Great little run, man. 11, 12. And he's getting old. Even scored 13 goals when he was washed at Middlesbrough as captain.
You know who else we forgot? Just to wrap it up. Diego Costa peak.
Oh, yeah.
Costa
true.
peak
Yeah,
was a
it's up
handful,
there. Yeah, yeah.
For 2-3 years.
That was like Torres, innit? He was like a Torres
similar.
level.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Hey, put
Good
some respect to
conversation, man.
RVP, bro. Let us know, guys. Who's some names we forgot? Not in terms of like the big names. We know the Henrys and stuff like that. But in terms of like the
And just above Streets to Never Forget. So
Yeah.
don't say like Viduka and
Yeah.
like they're Michu and Demba, but they're like Streets Never Forget. It's like that middle
Darren
ground.
Bent hit 24 Prem goals for Sunderland.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Charlton, he had a good run as well.
Charlton,
too.
he scored 17, 16 goals in the league.
Benny's got a good one.
Darren Bennett.
Let us know. Any guys we might have forgot, guys. Let us know. Get involved in the comment section down below. Premier League starts in a week. Community Shield
Jamie
is
Vardy.
Sunday.
No,
Yeah.
he's in the GOAT conversations now, surely. Is he in the GOAT?
This was just on peak.
No, but I'm saying, is Jamie Vardy... Do you have Jamie Vardy with the... I mean, I think if we have Robbie Fowler, we have to have Jamie Vardy in that
I see
bracket.
them like in the same
I'd
kind
got to
of
have
tier.
to. I got to have. You got to. Unless the answer is Jamie Vardy.
Guys, this wouldn't be an eye test episode anyways if he wasn't interrupting my
He's a top 20. He's in the
outro.
top 20. He's a top 20.
Ooh, Vardy.
Prem striker, yeah.
Oh,
He's a top
definitely.
20,
Yeah.
so.
Definitely. Anyways, guys, like I said, it wouldn't be an eye test without Cam interrupting my outro. Let us know down in the comment section down below. Get involved with all the conversations we've had today. Sesko, Neymar versus Messi, RVP versus Aguero, peak Prem strikers. And yeah, we'll see you guys very, very soon.
Peace.